What's up, everybody? Jackson here today with my little brother Chubbz.
Hello, everyone.
And today we would like to address one of the more interesting arguments we've seen for the microtransactions in Overwatch being consumer friendly and absolutely fair. And that they're good, and the reason that they're random is because they're good, and that if they weren't random, it would be unfair to customers, okay? So let's just jump into this argument. I'm gonna have a link to my video below where this argument originates. It's on a Roxy something post, but it's Ezra who's commenting. I don't want this to be meant as any disrespect towards Ezra, because honestly, this is one of the more interesting arguments I've heard. However, it's bullshit. But I appreciate the argument being presented because it gave us opportunity to kind of connect some puzzle pieces and present a theory that we don't know if it's true. We don't know, but we're going to roll on the odds that something fucking strange is happening with the drop rates on Overwatch loot boxes. And let's see how we get there. So the argument presented for why Overwatch loot boxes are good, Chubbz, that Ezra posted, was it's because paying customers, people who buy the loot boxes, would have an unfair advantage over playing customers if they sold currency, right? If they sold individual skins as individual skins, let people pick them, then playing customers would then still be stuck behind the RNG wall, right?
Right.
And so they're fair because if you buy them, you don't have an unfair cosmetic advantage. Like legit, that was something presented.
An unfair cosmetic.
An unfair cosmetic advantage. Okay, so the cosmetics don't matter argument, that goes out the window right there when you say something like that. That if they weren't random, if people were allowed to purchase, like if you got currency, say, every time you leveled up or after every match instead of a loot box, it would be unfair because people who are buying them would have an unfair cosmetic advantage.
They could just buy them all.
So if that's an unfair cosmetic advantage, I'm sorry, cosmetics definitely matter if you think there's a cosmetic advantage to be had. Then they definitely do matter to the game. So that's that argument out the window. So let's look at that argument. That it would be unfair if they sold them. Okay, well, they're doing it in China. And this is when me and Chubbz, we started talking about that. Because in order to work around the law of just giving drop rates to Chinese customers.
A reasonable request. Just, hey, let us know our chances of what we want is what we're going to get. You know? How often do we have of opening one of these loot boxes? Like, what percent of a chance do these skins drop?
At a legendary, at a spray, at an emote, whatever the fuck these things contain, what are the odds of like 1 in 5 of me getting that? Or 1 in 10, 1 in 20? Like, this is something Blizzard is very familiar with. They do it with every expansion with World of Warcraft. Which also in this argument, he said that WoW hadn't added any significant content in the last 20 years. Bro, you're fucking out of your mind. You do not know what you're talking about. Every single expansion from World of Warcraft adds extreme changes and updates the game in a fantastic, amazing way. I can't even tell you how ignorant that sounds to me when someone would say that. That in the past 20 years, Blizzard Entertainment has not added any significant content changes to World of Warcraft.
What the fuck?
What fucking planet are you living on? I'm sorry, dude. I know we said we were going to be respectful, but holy fuck, no, you are not a Blizzard fan.
You are not informed. You are misinformed as fuck, and I find that funny coming from a guy on another thread is telling me and you that we're uninformed.
Yeah, we're uninformed.
We're the ones who don't know.
Okay, so here's the thing. They already did it in China. They don't want to, so your argument that Blizzard wouldn't do that because it would add an unfair cosmetic advantage to the paying customer is completely bullshit. Because they did it in China, right? And instead of selling the loot boxes so they could work around this law of having to give the drop rates, which is shady as fuck to me, they instead sell bulk volumes of currency, in-game currency that you can use to purchase things you want, but as a bonus, they give you loot boxes for free, because since they are free, they no longer have to reveal the drop rates for them, because this is Activision Blizzard, okay? With that in mind, let's just, so why would they not, if these fucking drop rates are static, if they stay the same, if it's 1 in fucking 20 you get a legendary, or 1 in 10, or whatever the fucking odds are that Reddit threaders have fucking put up, right, after spending God knows how much money buying God knows how many loot boxes in order to get those to the, like, why would Blizzard want to release drop rates? then they'd lose people buying thousands of them for fucking to reveal drop rates, right? Which we believe aren't accurate. Because the only reason you would be hesitant to give drop rates to the Chinese people, the Chinese customer, and instead rework your whole system so that it's a work around the law, the only reason you would do that is because your fucking drop rates are not staying static. Okay?
They are not the same.
We're going to have links below, and in order, they will be us connecting the pieces. 2 videos by Jim Sterling are huge pieces to this puzzle. Okay? His fucking video on the turning players into payers, all right? Turning players into payers, and his fucking video on the CSGO lottery, all right? So this is the thing. CSGO, that lottery shit, that's just a small part of a bigger problem, okay? The bigger problem being that people are buying loot boxes or buying keys to open the loot boxes. I don't know how it works. All I know is you have to pay money to open these things. They're then taking those items, selling them on fucking line to get more loot boxes, to open more loot boxes so they can sell more shit, so they can have more money on their Steam account, so they can play more of these fucking gambling things, right? This is before Overwatch, all right? These sorts of things were, and Team Fortress 2, these things were making massive amounts of money before Overwatch. We see Overwatch do a complete 180 flip. We're not doing an MMO FPS, you know, RPG.
Yeah.
This isn't going to be, this is going to be a PvP only experience.
Yeah, 7 years of developing a brand new first-person shooter MMO. We're gonna gut that game, take that development team, and force them to do an arena PvP only team shooter. That's it. And you know, that's the #1 thing, is all the assets taken from that old gutted game that got canceled went into Overwatch. They didn't even come up with anything new or creative. They probably did with the characters, some of the characters, but a lot of the assets, a lot of the things that were there, the programming, all that shit, came from a different game that they were working on prior.
Yeah, they flipped it and reworked it into what Overwatch is.
Exactly.
One thing I'll give Blizzard is they were 100% transparent about what that game was going to be.
Yes.
They never once said this is going to be some grand fucking thing or anything like that. They just said this is going to be a really fun, competitive arena shooter.
Oh, yeah.
PvP only arena shooter. That's fine.
Yeah, even when they canceled it, they said, you know, we're going to do this.
However, when it comes to being transparent about the numbers, the odds behind their loot boxes, all of a sudden they clam up. All of a sudden they do exactly what you yourself said would be a unfair cosmetic advantage to the paying player over the playing player, right? You say that's they do it. They do it for the simple reason that they don't want to release drop rates for their loot boxes. Okay, so now let's fast forward. You know, you've got the players turning players into payers. Yeah. Turning player. God, that's a mouthful.
Yeah.
Anyway, that is a video Jim Sterling did on an actual company that contracts out to mobile phone game developers to help fuck with the user algorithms, to offer up sales to certain people. Like, say you spend less than, say Chubbz and me play fucking Clash of Clans or some other bullshit property that's owned by Activision on the mobile market. Candy Crush, whatever. Do they own Clash of Clans? Let's say we're playing Candy Crush, right? So I every time I get paid, I throw $100 down to fucking Candy Crush shit, right? Chubbz, he just plays it for free. Every now and then throws him $5 here and there. Guess what? Chubbz is going to get better deals presented to him when he goes to the online store than I will, because this company has gone through the algorithms and said, okay, well, Jax is already a player. I mean, a payer.
Yeah,
he's not a player anymore. He's a fucking payer. He's given us $100 every 2 weeks, guaranteed. Let's just sell him at what price we think he'll be willing to buy. Let's give him deals based on his moronic, you know, tendencies to give us hundreds of dollars at a time.
Right.
Right? And for Chubbz is just a player. Let's turn him into a payer. And so Chubbz gets different deals pop up on his home screen. Chubbz gets different deals pop up in the App Store. Chubbz gets different things altogether, okay? This is happening. This isn't something that's theoretical or they may be doing. This is fucking happening. And this company has an ad for it. Go watch that Jimquisition. It is such a good fucking episode. Go give it a watch. Now, moving from that, we have
microtransaction 128 patented by
Activision.
Stamped right on the motherfucker. Like, they were proud.
And now, let's get into what microtransaction engine 128 does. That's owned by Activision, a patent by Activision, which is a partner to Blizzard, if not the direct controller at this point, since every fucking move I see from Blizzard Entertainment doesn't resemble a move made by the company of my youth, but instead a company entirely infested with fucking greedy sons of bitches, which is what Activision is. And that's fine. They're a corporation. They're allowed to want to make money. They're allowed to shit all over the consumer. They're allowed to introduce fucking gambling casinos into fucking games marketed towards a younger audience. They're allowed to do that. There's nothing illegal in what they've done. Unethical? Inappropriate? Lazy? Absolutely.
Beyond scrutiny?
But beyond scrutiny? Beyond criticism? Absolutely not.
No.
Okay, so what this engine would do, in a practical sense, is it would, in a game like Overwatch, let's say if it was applied to Overwatch, it would make a point of the random player either grouping them with someone who has the latest and greatest Uprising skins, or alternatively, if you're in a pre-made team, it'll put you up against a team that has the new skins. Right? And this is all to fuck with your mind while you're playing the game, and it gets even more egregious than just showing off colors and dances and emotions. It gets even more egregious. They go to the point where if they're selling guns, they're going to pit the new guy up against the guy who's giving them fucking $1,000 so that guy gets absolutely fucked up by these in-game boosts, these in-game paid advantages. They get fucked up by that, and they're incentivized to go buy loot crates so they can get the latest and greatest guns.
I want what that guy has.
That guy fucked me up. I'm gonna fucking throw $50 into this game.
Yeah.
Turning players into payers. Okay, that's the gist of microtransaction engine 128. Is to psychologically fuck, divide, and torment the customer, the paying customer who bought your already $60 title, who is your customer. It is to fuck with their mind into giving you more. The equivalent of this in real life shit would be you going to fucking get your car fixed and them doing a bunch of shit that they didn't want, that you didn't even want done, and not fixing the problem. And then you come back and then they do a bunch of shit you don't want. They charge you for it. You have to pay for it, and then they don't fix the problem. That is the equivalent, real life equivalent. They are selling you a game that will then fuck with you every day with a patented thing that is built to turn players into payers. They don't want your $60 up front. They want all of your money.
They want to psychologically incentivize you into paying more money. That's what they're doing. And they're applying psychology experiments used on fucking lab rats and pigeons. They're putting that shit directly into the games.
So let's be kind to Overwatch, right? Since it's a Blizzard product and it stands aside of all of other Activision products, right? Let's for a minute, let's live in your realm of reality where there is nothing shifty, shady, or anything going on with Overwatch where they're unwilling, absolutely unwilling, Blizzard Entertainment absolutely unwilling to release drop rates. Instead, they find a workaround in the law to fuck with the fucking Chinese customers with an unfair cosmetic advantage, as you so eloquently put it in your argument. Okay, so if they stand aside, does Bungie? Do you think that Destiny has any sort of little fucking, mindfuck going on with the microtransactions in that game? I think it did right out of the gate when they made shaders consumable items that only cover one piece of gear. They say it's about player choice. They say it's about more ways to customize your character. That's how they see it. The official story. But what they know is now people have to gamble on not only the colors, but they have to ensure that they get enough to cover their entire body, and then they have to get enough to make sure that if they decide to want to switch it, they can change it back. You will fucking decide what color you want, and you'll look that way forever, or you may not be able to look that way again. Okay? I'd say it's there from fucking day one on release. That to me, just that Just that. Not to mention weapon mods, not to mention every time you level up you get one, to send you, and not to mention you have to go to the Eververse store to open them, not to mention that shit is front and center on display at the tower, not to mention that fucking, it's like everything in that game is just to show other players. Just to show other players. I always used to see people doing these paid dances and I'm like, wow, good for you.
Cool.
You paid money to dance.
Good job.
In a video game.
Well, that's what was the most fun about that game. There were 1,000 videos on YouTube of fucking just people dancing to music. Synchronized dancing to music.
Yep.
It was like that. Dude, that game was so boring and shallow. People had to come up with ways to make it fun. Like dancing in a tower.
So we can look at Bungie and Destiny 2 and we can say that there's been some sort of psychological tactics deployed in order to ensure people stop being players and instead turn into payers, right? We can do that because front and center Eververse, you get a free loot box, you got to open it here, you know, you got extra money, why not just pick up some more while you're here?
Oh yeah, cosmetics are a huge part now.
Destiny doesn't get a pass in my book. You want to give it a pass, go ahead. Go ahead, I'm going to call you a fucking Bungie fanboy. You want to give Overwatch a pass, you're a fucking Blizzard fanboy. I'm sorry. Because I have good friends. Fuck, I have a viewer, Virtual Legend, who's been watching me for days, loves Overwatch, is critical as fuck of them. I have another viewer, Conrad Miskinu, loves Overwatch, critical as fuck of them. My boy fucking Toxic plays fucking Overwatch all the time, loves it, but he's not above saying, fuck Blizzard for this, fuck Blizzard for that. I wish they would do this. I wish we could do that, right? Like, all these people love the game just as much as these butthurt fucking fanboys. Play it probably just as much, but they're willing to look at Blizzard as an entity, not as a fucking daddy, not as a fucking religious figure, right? They're able to look at them and say, no, just because you have lots of money and a great fucking marketing team doesn't mean that you're above fucking scrutiny. Doesn't mean that your loot boxes are above the fucking loot box controversy. And it doesn't mean that you're 100% honest and fucking care about your customer and that's all you do. That's why you make the decisions you make, is because you care about your customers. Uh-huh.
Yeah.
So if they're fucking, let's run under the logic. Let's run under the Blizzard fanboy logic. They stand aside. Well, what about Call of Duty? Well, fucking Call of Duty World War II has fucking you open loot boxes in a social space in front of other people to tickle their fucking mind and their addiction.
Which we know was a part of the microtransaction engine 128.
You got fucking the soldiers who stormed the beach in Normandy scratching their fucking shoulders looking at other people opening loot boxes going, God damn, I wish I had a loot box.
Oh man, I can't believe you just got that.
Oh man, I
want that fucking gun, man.
I'm gonna go buy fucking 20 of them right now. I can't handle it. You know, this is what they wanted. This is what Activision wanted. And now you're not a player anymore, you're a payer. Because you've been psychologically fucked with while playing Call of Duty World War II, while being forced to wait in a social zone in between matches, while being forced to watch other people open loot boxes over and over again. They're saying, fuck this YouTube loot box opening phenomenon. We're gonna put that shit right in the fucking game.
Everybody.
Right in front of our customers. That shit's going in the game. All right, so I don't think Call of Duty stands apart. You want to talk about Activision's mobile market? All the games they have on mobile? You want to talk about, see if they're fair there? Or see if they're not psychologically turning players into payers? You want to look at that? Let's do it. Bring me a list of games that Activision publishes that are fair on the mobile phone. All right, do it. So let's look back once again to Overwatch and Blizzard. Instead of releasing drop rates, which would probably be incredibly simple if they were static.
Right.
If it was static.
You had a 10% drop rate of this skin. It is a legendary, rare skin, completely different, changes the way your character looks, everything. You know, 10% drop rate. They don't even want to give you that percentage. They have other people opening, what, 50 to 150 loot boxes, and then on Reddit, those same people are going to go through and give other people the odds.
I don't believe that those odds are even real.
Absolutely, because this is the thing. This is the equivalency of a gambler going to a casino like the Oasis and then walking out and being like, hey, here's your odds of winning in there.
Here's how much money I lost in order to tell you how much you lose.
Yeah.
That's what it is. That's what it is. We spent X amount of dollars on X amount of loot boxes, and here's our drop rates.
Exactly. The company themselves won't even give you those drop rates.
So, Chubbz, when we were reading this person's argument, Chubbz said, I don't even think those fucking things are static.
Yeah.
I think they change those.
Oh, yeah.
I think they fuck with those. I think that someone who spends hundreds of dollars on loot boxes has a lower drop rate for legendaries and things that they actually want. And I think you're absolutely right.
Oh, yeah.
There's a lot of money behind Overwatch, but where is all this money gone? I think it's gone to a system in order to turn players into payers.
I think the best psychological mind fucks that they have incorporated or come up with on a whim or worked around in the engines, I think all of them, if not all the ones that work, are in Overwatch.
Exactly. Because look at it. Look at it. It stands above the controversy. It seriously has people saying that loot boxes have to exist or there'd be an unfair cosmetic advantage. That is what he said. I cannot believe that is a phrase that I read in this lifetime. I fucking give up.
But it's sad that this is the world we live in, right? We have algorithms that judge your data usage on Google, right? And so every time you go to a website, an ad that pops up, it is specifically there, relevant based off of what you've gone through in your history.
This is why I hate Facebook, because it's proven that using user algorithm data, they were both, Hillary and Trump, using fucking things to influence the fucking election.
Based off of analysts and algorithms.
Based on user fucking data.
Yes.
And that's why fuck Facebook. But all I'm saying is that if they can do that, if they can give you specialized ads based on things that you've been interested in that may be able to sway your vote, whether it's true or not, if they were willing to do that, you don't think Activision Blizzard, the motherfuckers who have paid lawmakers overseas millions in order to set up tax havens that our government can't touch, you think that those people care so much about you that the reason they're giving you random loot boxes with no odds is because they don't want an unfair paid cosmetic advantage? Go look at yourself in the mirror, sir. You got some fucking introspective thinking to do at that fucking point in your life. Because you are addicted.
Oh, yeah.
And it's okay to be addicted to the game. Like I said, I don't hold any disrespect for anyone who likes Overwatch.
No.
I've said, in my own opinion, why I don't like it, why I don't play it, why I didn't buy it, right? But I've accepted people's opinions. I've watched, Toxic sent me a bunch of competitive ranked play for fucking that video I did on what the fuck happened to Blizzard. He knew what I was doing with it.
Yeah.
He knew. And he loves Overwatch. He plays Overwatch a lot. He knew what I was doing with that footage and he didn't care. All right? That's the thing, because he's a fucking gamer. I'm a fucking gamer. We're not fucking fanboys.
We all just want good things.
If you feel the need to come to the defense of billionaire companies that do not give a fuck about anything other than the bottom line, if you need to come to their defense and offer up something as piddly as unpaid, unfair cosmetic advantages being your reason that loot boxes need to exist, step the fuck away from my channel and never fucking come back. Fucking bye.
And to anybody who feels like there's something shifty and shady going on, but they're not quite sure, get your creative juices flowing. Start
Look at
thinking
stories.
about this.
Connect the dots.
Don't just come up with it in your imagination, because this isn't the 70s. This isn't crazy fucking conspiracies. We have evidence that these types of things are happening. Like you said, there's that algorithm that based off of the mobile market of how much you pay, they are looking at that and on an individual basis offering different rewards.
Different dills.
And you know, you're telling me they're not doing that in Overwatch?
I don't buy it.
That's the thing. That's why
I think everyone's paying the same amount, but they're not getting the same drop rates.
Exactly.
Because if they were, there would have been no problem to release it.
It's on an individual basis based off of how much money you spend, and that's why they are not going to give away these drop rates. Compared to World of Warcraft, where the drop rates are fixed. You're going in to kill a boss that drops this, and this. And I know that this hammer that I want has a 50% drop rate. You know what I mean? So 50% of the time that I kill this boss, I am going to get that item.
Yep.
You know, because that's fixed.
That's why when I hear people, and they say this, that I get all the skins I want and I don't buy any loot boxes. I 100% believe you.
Oh, yeah.
But I think you get those because Blizzard's trying to turn you from a player into a payer. I think they're giving you awesome drops so you're convinced that you will always get awesome drops so you'll buy more fucking loot boxes. Alright? That's what I think's going on, and I don't like that.
There's evidence that there's that journalist who's talking about how he's spending thousands of dollars to get an entire collection of skins in Overwatch. And people are saying they're getting that entire collection without paying any money. Meanwhile, this guy had to spend thousands of dollars just to get that.
Yep.
And why is he buying them? Well, he's a journalist. He's writing articles about this. He's going to buy them so that he can write an article about them so that he can get money so that he can buy more.
And the thing about Overwatch's loot box that are more insidious than Battlefront 2's, that are more insidious than fucking anything in Shadow of War, more insidious than in anything else you could ever fucking name, is that they're defended and protected by a capsule of people who don't want to admit there's a problem. That's why. They're more insidious because they're socially accepted. It's like cigarettes.
Yeah, back in the day. Cigarettes are healthy for you.
Fucking smoke them all.
Smoke them, man.
That was the argument
Doctors
Fagin made.
were recommending them,
Like,
man.
just because a lot of people say smoking's alright and smoking's fine. I love that comment from Fagin. Doesn't mean it's true. Because it's not. It's fucking bad for you. It'll fucking kill you. You will die drowning. You will die drowning, and so will our hobby if people don't stop this at some point and question these companies. So to everyone who plays Overwatch, who fucking questions this Blizzard, questions their fucking decisions behind loot boxes, we fucking love you. To all the fanboys, fuck off and goodbye. That's it for me, Jax.
Chubbz.
Love you guys. Stay fucking awesome.